What is up, fellow bench farmers? Welcome to your daily fantasy quickie. What's up, guys? It's Judgment Day of week. What week is it? 10. Week 10. And
10, yes.
I'm your host, JJT with commish. And I know it was a disappointing, frustrating, annoying week 10 for many of us. And well, this is the perfect way to cap off week 10 with lots more COVID players on COVID protocol and big names at that. I mean, these are not your streamer types of players, but these are major players getting into COVID protocols.
I blame you.
I told you.
Miles Bridges, I told you that shut up and do not mention his name. The league that I told you, I only have 4 players left.
Yeah.
The 4 players was Miles Bridges, was Jonas Valanciunas. So I don't know what to do with that.
And you have Nurkic, right?
Nurkic. Yes, Nurkic was the other player. So I'm down Marcus Smart at this point. Well, Jimmy Butler came back. So at least I have Jimmy Butler and Marcus Smart.
I have some teams that have been really hit. And looks like I'm going to be killed on week 11. I checked some of the games and the disparity is huge. Like there are matchups wherein, the opponent has 29 games and you think 29 games was just, very few games. And then I look at my team and I only have 18 games. I mean, if you look at 29 games, it would seem like, that's not a lot of games, right? And he's probably had lots of injured players. I haven't really checked out. And then I look at mine after updating for the rest of the week and I have 18 games. There are some lineups like that. And really, to be honest, you really can't do anything about it. I mean, you can't trade, you can't, move players because a lot of the players are also on COVID protocols.
There are people who have been asking. There have been people who have been asking about who's the best stream, who's the best ad, and I would just answer that I can only answer based on now, because some people have a weekly league, in a sense. They have to add. They have to make the move. They have to make a move in early, like I guess today. They gave names that were okay, that are okay now, but I told them if I answer that and that player goes into COVID protocol tomorrow, you're gonna waste your stream.
Yeah.
So I right now, basically what we can do is just based on what we know now. But even with streaming, even with ads, it's changing by the minute, not even by the day right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes by the hour, somebody goes in, and sometimes they don't even announce it anymore for lower ranked players. I've been following the news, but sometimes the news doesn't come out anymore. You just find out, like Damian Lee. Did they announce Damian Lee was in COVID protocols? I don't remember they announced Damian Lee in COVID protocols. So you just have to really be alert.
And one of the very active members of our group, Justin Mon, I think the name, mentioned that it's really hard to recommend any stream players at this point because you just get probably the best available out there. He's right. You just get the best available out there if you have someone to drop. I think the biggest question is right now is that of all the players that you have in COVID or injured, the biggest decision you'll probably make is not who to add, but who to drop. Right? Because there might be some players that, you will drop that are probably more long-term player than the one you'll add. So you have to make those tough decisions on which player to cut out from your team, which player, if you drop now, wouldn't really hurt as much later on. So I think that's the one of the more
That
challenging thing.
that's true. And also another thing is that you have to assume that all players will get it. Some way or
Yep.
another, all players will eventually get it. Like we mentioned Miles Bridges, we mentioned I'll mention Lonzo Ball. In a way, you could say that they already, the hottest part of the COVID craze in their teams passed already, but it still caught them in the end, right?
Yeah.
Eventually. So I would think if like 10 or 11 or 14 of your teammates already got it and you're the only one who didn't get it, you're more likely than not going to get it also, because when you travel to another city, when you go to another city, they're probably immune, you're not.
Yeah.
So you're really eventually going to get it. So for now, I think 100% sure we have to include COVID as part of the criteria in judging a player, if whether
Yeah.
the player has gotten it or not, because if they've gotten it already and they've come out of protocols, I think I'll give that player a boost. I'll give that player a boost.
Yeah. And maybe I'm not sure, this might be thinking way too ahead, but weekly settings would now be something that's not really a good idea to do in future leagues, maybe, because COVID can be a reoccurring thing. I mean, you can get it now, doesn't mean you can't get it a year from now. You still can, but yeah, it's too early to say that, I guess, for me. But I'm just thinking, like you mentioned, there were some managers who were worried about the weekly thing, and yeah, that's going to be a problem because you add them, all your players are going to be locked in, and yeah, we really can't do anything about it at that point. Well, at least it saves you all the stress of adding or dropping players, right? I mean, there's really not much you can do. Just to go through maybe the list. John Collins, um, out into COVID protocol, but the only thing you can hope for is you keep your fingers crossed, and maybe are you know they are false positive at this point, and they'll come back after what, 5 days, or after the new year. I
At
mean,
this
early.
point, at this point, you should hope that they're not false positive, because if they're false positive, you lose 5 days, and then when it's real positive, you'll lose another 10 days.
True.
So, I mean, if you're gonna endure 5 days, what's 5 days more? Especially with the holidays, there are some games or some days where there are lesser games. So maybe it's better, better that way. Just rip the band-aid and go ahead. But John Collins, yes. I actually been thinking of John Collins. I've been thinking of Miles Bridges. I've been thinking of some other people, but I'm not gonna tell Jeremy anymore.
I will
But
tell
I've been
you.
thinking,
I will tell you who am
okay,
I
okay.
thinking about later.
I'll not tell you the other players I'm thinking, but Bridges, Collins, yes. I've been thinking that they would probably get it. Collins spot in Atlanta because Jalen Johnson, the backup of Collins, Danilo Gallinari, the backup of Collins, are all also out.
Yeah.
Onyeka Okongwu possibly could play power forward, is also out. Maybe they start Dieng. That is what I think they might do. They might go Gorgie, Dieng, and Capella together because looking at the roster, I really can't see any any other possible scenario.
Yeah.
So maybe Dieng could be added again. Maybe.
Yeah, and yeah, so really not much there. Uh, okay, so before I missed out, it just came into my thought. Now that we're into this, in the middle of this outbreak, I've started doing some, just letting go of some of the weeks. Like last week, if I feel like there's really no hope for me, during the last day, I added some players who are coming back from COVID protocol instead of adding, even though they didn't have a game today. I just added them because they're coming back. Players like Isaac Okoro, players like Pat Beverly, they're back. So I think I just focused towards the end of last week, of this week 10. I just, for those that are lost cause already, I just focus on adding these players, and maybe you could do the same with players that have been dropped, maybe that were somehow rosterable before they were
Yeah.
before they got into COVID protocol. Players like Cody Martin, are close to returning as well without Miles, without
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
That's
that's
a very interesting idea, because I actually was thinking of making an article about aging of COVID players. I mean, like the aging of checks, the aging,
yeah,
like this player has already how many days in, so how many days left. So that's actually a very, very important thing right now. So Cody Martin, Jeremy just said, might follow. Actually, didn't Cody go in earlier than Caleb? No, no, he came later. Yeah,
yeah, later.
he was later.
But
Caleb out.
I've looked into some of the players' notes and see when was it announced. I think Cody had it on the 23rd, so probably next week he'll be back.
23rd. Today's 27. So still some ways away. Maybe not yet the time. You
The one that are immediately coming back. Isaac Okoro is out. He's been there. Pat Beverly is out. He's been there. He's in the waiver in a lot of leagues. He is practicing already. I think he joined team practice, so that means he's out of COVID protocol. Okoro, I think, is in conditioning mode. So yeah, those players.
Marcus Morris
has been out. Is out of COVID protocol.
Yeah, he's already practicing.
He actually was in the bench so a while ago. So that means he's out of COVID protocol already. So he is another player that's not as available as those other players earlier mentioned, but yeah, he is available in some.
The others you possibly will not be available. I think Anthony Edwards is near. I think Evan Mobley should be close.
Yeah.
But these guys might not be available. Well, they will not be available in your league. So maybe focus.
Yeah.
Maybe Jordan Poole was dropped. Maybe I don't know, but it could be he could have been dropped.
Yeah.
Jordan Poole is also near. As far as I know, Jordan Poole is also close to coming back.
Yeah.
Well, if Mo Bamba was dropped in your leagues,
no.
Yeah,
Mo Bamba will not be dropped, guys. Come on.
Just be saying everything, just covering the bases. LaMarcus Aldridge, okay? LaMarcus Aldridge actually should be back already. He's way past the 10-day mark. And then there's an article, and people have been questioning whether his heart condition makes him more susceptible to COVID. What you call this? Severe COVID. But Steve Nash shut it down. He said LaMarcus is okay, and he's just conditioning. So LaMarcus is actually another player who I think, if available, is a good player to add.
Yeah, looking at it quickly could be a speculative ad, right? Without new developments in New York. He crossed my mind a bit when I was running out of players to add. Maybe quickly can be speculative without Derrick Rose.
Possible, yeah, possible. As we said, well, actually, yeah, quickly is a speculative ad, but you have to be more patient with quickly. As I said, Kemba is hot right now, so maybe quickly will get 20-25 minutes, not as much. But remember, as we said, Kemba is just like Malcolm Brogdon. Remember when Brogdon was super hot, playing 35, 38, 40 minutes. We know his body will not take it. Kemba's body is the same thing. It might not be 1 week, might not be 2 weeks, but eventually something will happen. Maybe not as, not ACL or whatever, just soreness here, soreness there. And by that time, quickly will pay off. And Jeremy is correct. Derrick Rose is out. So quickly will at least be the main backup point guard. Should be the main backup point guard for the Knicks going forward.
And yeah, if Kemba sets could be the starting point guard eventually. I mean, they are not of course the big name ads, but they're most likely going to be long term and better than your replacement players, right?
Yes.
So don't focus too much, especially if it's a lost cause. Right? I have a team like Commish has a team wherein there's really no one there already. I don't think he's gonna win anything with that type of lineup, right? And I had a team who's got 6 players available only. So, I mean, that's not going to win it for me. So, I just focus on looking at players that are, that I can add. Going back to the list, Dillon Brooks is out. Well, at least there's more usage for the other Memphis guys. But, yeah. But Melton is also out.
Yes.
With Dillon Brooks. So that means you have to watch out for Desmond Bain.
who will probably be out soon. I don't want to say it, but
I'm saying it because there's a I mean, we all know these things. There is a possibility. Who's still there? Steven Adams. Those players. Jaren Jackson hasn't
Darren
had it.
Jackson Jr. Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of players there. So
Well, if you have Ja Morant, you're safe because you already got it. That's why I said, Anthony Davis, come on, get it already. Get it over with. You're
well,
out
you're out,
anyway.
right?
Yeah, when
Bam
you're out,
Adebayo, right?
bam, Anthony Davis, go get it. It's just take one already so that when you come back, you're just good to go. And Malcolm Brogdon, I don't know.
something crossed my mind. I don't know if I will say it or not. There might be one player who just came back who hasn't really gotten it.
I know, Jimmy Butler. Actually, Jimmy. I was thinking of Jimmy, but when I was making the quickie a while ago, I was already thinking Jimmy Butler's back, and then I wrote it. I said,
right, Jimmy Butler's back.
We don't
Lowry's
know.
out.
Possibly, tomorrow, next week, he's in COVID protocols. So he just came back and he's gonna go to COVID protocols. It's bound to happen. That's why I said, trade him, trade him. If we can get Vucevic, I don't care if it's just Vucevic or even DeRozan or maybe Levine or whoever. I don't care. All those players already is done with COVID. I'll take it. Especially if your team is already struggling, considering if Jimmy Butler is your first round or second round pick, you're possibly struggling already.
Yeah, who is out in Miami, right? Caleb's got it. He just got it.
Lowry's out. Yeah, we know that
Lowry's out.
So actually, Miami still has some players who hasn't gotten it. I think Tyler hasn't gotten it. Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, these guys are still, hasn't got it. Dwayne Dedmon,
Markieff has gotten it, right?
I don't know. I actually can't. I don't remember about Markieff.
Yeah. Anyway, just watch out for those players. DeJounte Murray's gotten it. So now the Spurs side, earlier it was Jakob Poeltl, then it stopped, right? It didn't stop there. It did stop kind of, they got it under control kind of. Now DeJounte's got it. So other players might follow soon. Hopefully, the only hope is that they don't follow immediately, right? It's so frustrating. I'm not sure if you like it that they just go all out. Everyone has it immediately.
I mentioned something about, the first teams that have been hit are the big city teams like Chicago, like New York, LA, but most of the East Coast, Philadelphia, Toronto. But we said it's eventually gonna go into the mid US teams, like the smaller markets like OKC. Although Texas is not a small market, but Texas is somewhere there. OKC, Memphis. Well, we see San Antonio now getting it. Dallas has a lot of players in. Portland has actually with Nurkic and everybody. Actually, they have 7, I think, in. So now the OKC has their first player in, first 2. Trey Mann and Darius. I didn't put Trey Mann anymore. Trey Mann and Darius Bazley is in. So another player in my mind right now is SGA and Josh Giddey. Okay, these players are in danger. Right now, we can predict it. We can already predict it. So if you own these players, we're not saying trade them, but just be aware that you might miss them soon.
Yeah,
in the near future.
Yeah.
So there, we're in the middle of where the COVID thing is changing now. It's moving towards there. OKC, San Antonio, Dallas, Memphis, Portland. It's gonna going there right now. Utah is next. Next.
And we don't really sound like fantasy managers playing fantasy basketball, but we sound like medical workers trying to.
We sound like epidemiologists trying to predict the reproduction rate and everything of COVID in the NBA.
But the trend has been there. The trend has been there. I mean,
everybody's gonna get it in the NBA. Everybody's gonna get it. That's what I think will happen. Yeah. Eventually, everybody's gonna get it.
Yeah, and then with the there hasn't really been any very serious. I guess there hasn't been the serious symptoms that players have when it comes to COVID. But yeah, let's just hope it stays that way, and then let's just hope everyone gets it over with at this point. Lonzo Ball, late to the
Yeah.
party. Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, all late to the party. Well, the good news is most of the Chicago players has had it, at least the fantasy relevant ones. Um, Miles, PJ, and uh, Miles and PJ Washington late to the
And
party.
Cody. So
Yeah,
who's left there? I was thinking of someone a while ago.
Jaden.
Jalen, yun, there. Jalen McDaniels. I was thinking of Jalen McDaniels and Mason Plumlee. I would think Jalen would be the best ad there. Jalen McDaniels. Jalen McDaniels is a good ad right now.
Yeah,
Mason Plumlee also. I guess if you need centers right now, Plumlee will be playing a lot of minutes because who's left? Vernon Carey, Nick Richards. These guys are not really that good. So Plumlee and Jalen Richards are the ad there. In Chicago, Kobe White is starting for Caruso, who doesn't have COVID, but he's injured. Caruso, if you want to get COVID, I'm not sure if you have COVID already before, but go get it while you're out. So Kobe White is the only guy I can consider there.
for I was talking about Cody Martin a while ago. Cody Martin was went into COVID protocol December 20, probably around December 19. So he is kind of close.
It's near. Yeah, it's near.
He is kind of close. And if he doesn't have symptoms or he's tested one negative test already, I think he is very close. Sometime this week, he could be playing already. So a player to watch out for as well later on this week. Portland, Yusuf Nurkic is in. Of course, who else are in? Who's the other guy?
Rocco, Ben McLemore, and then three other lower ranked players.
So if you held on to your Larry Nance, should be really good for Larry Nance owners. Yeah. And Naz Reid got it.
Yeah.
So we're sorry if you added Naz Reid. I added some Naz Reid. Well, the only good news is, he got into COVID protocol before the week ended. So at least I had one move to, drop him and replace him with another player. So at least that didn't cost me a move for week 11. Darius Baisley, as Commish said. Really, for Naz Reid, there's really not much that makes Jalen McDaniels a more enticing or a very good fantasy player to add, barring any setback tomorrow or later.
Nathan Knight is the third string center there. So yeah, maybe Knight your deeper leagues or maybe you're streaming is someone to consider. He's not good, but they don't have any other centers. He might get 30-35 minutes.
Yeah, and Jaden could like we said, Jaden's the guy. But like I said a while ago, Pat Beverly could be a very interesting ad because there's really no one there. Beasley, D'Lo is out. Carl Anthony Towns is out.
Yes.
Now Naz Reid is out, so there's really not much there. So most likely, I am kind of expecting Pat Beverly to play the next game, for Minnesota. Draymond Green is out on COVID protocol.
With this, Otto Porter for me should be a must add right now. They probably would start Porter, and I'm not sure if Zerica will start or Kuminga. Not sure if Kuminga is there in protocols, but there. Even if Wiggins or Poole comes back, at least Porter can play power forward, so he can.
So who's the big name next in line?
Steph. I mean, it's easy. Steph Curry.
Right? That's the name that I was really thinking. Oh, Draymond got it. lots more player got it in Golden State. So yeah, kind of inevitable. You know, if let's just hope Clay gets it now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Clay owners probably want to hope that he gets it now and not before, not after he starts playing next year. So yeah, let's see. Yeah. So those are the COVID guys. No injury. Well, Brandon Ingram went out with an
Oh
injury.
yeah, Brandon
So
Ingram.
Herb Jones could have more minutes. Well, there's really nothing definite yet with Brandon Ingram, I guess. No timeline. We're not sure yet whether he's gonna be out. But yeah, Herb
It's
Jones.
supposedly a sore Achilles. Something like Malcolm Brogdon's situation. But yeah, the problem with not having timeline is that, like Brogdon, it can linger.
Yeah.
It can. Brogdon has been out for 3 to 4 days already. So 3 to 4 games already, not days. So that could be what Ingram would go through. Remember the last time he was out. Beat managers were so frustrated that they traded him low. So we don't know what this is. Hopefully it's not serious. Hopefully it's not serious.
Yeah, Herb Jones is the guy there. I'm not sure what's up with Valanciunas, but he was also out today. So maybe Hernan Gomez, as long as he's out, could be a good stream.
But Valanciunas has been out for 2 games, two games with supposedly non-COVID illness.
Yeah.
So there. Yeah, Hernan Gomez is the guy to add there. Herb Jones, I recommended him. But I think, of course, the guy who would really benefit here is Josh Hart, who's been playing very well, who's one of our fantasy winners. I think we can just go straight to him because I really want to talk about him. Justin Mon, as you said, just said that he thinks he's top 60. He is top 60. He's top 60 with the way he's playing right now. Not totals, because he did miss some games. He has his own, all of a sudden becoming questionable from nowhere situations. But when he plays, he's good. And this year, I want to compare him to a more veteran Josh Giddey. People will not think of it as Josh Giddey, but the rebounding and the assists this year for Hart, look at the numbers. It's been good. It's been good.
Yeah, he's been good. I mean,
9 rebounds and 6 assists a game.
Well, he really has been a very good rebounder. I mean, for a guard, he's close to being an elite rebounder for a guard.
Yes.
Because even last year he was doing 14, 13, 12 rebounds a game in some stretches. So yeah, the only I guess knock on Josh Hart has been maybe his inconsistent scoring. There's really not much there other than rebounding. But this year he has been really good this year, and the scoring has also followed. I guess it also helped that Zion isn't in the lineup. And then Brandon Ingram missed time. Now Valanciunas misses time. So yeah, he should be safe there with New Orleans.
The thing with Hart this year, the assists, the steals, they have improved. One thing he has not improved on is the free throws. Field goal it's not been that good field goal wise, but free throws still not good free throws. That's why top 60. I don't think he's top 60. He's going to be top 60 because of that. But he's not been a good player with steals, but this year last 7 games, 2 steals a game already. So I think,
and I think the scoring also went up a bit. Scoring was a little better, and the threes have been better over the past few years. And yeah, I mean, I have a couple, I think, of Josh Hart stocks.
I have a Josh Hart, and I only picked him up from the waiver.
Yeah, because he was out, right? I could remember that time we're in. We were saying that let's add Josh Hart already because he's been out and he could be back and could be a good player. But yeah,
so you listen to us. It pays off at times. We do give you some tips in advance. We don't always just react to good games. We do tell you, like,
why is there someone saying you that? telling
No,
you
no, no.
that?
I'm just saying like Pat Bev, like Josh Hart. These players are we were able to see what they were gonna do because of the track record. With rookies, it's tough, but with veterans, you can see that they have the track records.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Other buy players, let's talk about the buy players. We talked about Isaac Okoro. Denny
Mm-hmm.
Avdiha, I was already asking Commish last or the other day about Denny Avdiha. Yeah, he's been good. The coach wants him to play. Coach wants to give him minutes. So yeah, he's been solid. Not the wow numbers, but pretty solid numbers.
Yeah. Correct. Not the wow 25, 24, 20 points maybe, but when you look at the numbers, he rebounds and assists, steals. Sometimes he blocks one or two, he gets 1, 3, something like that. All around, overall
Yeah.
he helps you. So yeah, Denny Abdiha is good. Bradley Beal and who else is in COVID protocols there? I think Raul Neto is also in COVID protocols. So there are players there that are out, and Abdiha is been taking advantage.
Yeah, we talked about Caleb Martin a lot yesterday's quickie. Omer year 7 will get time because there's really no center there to play. Right? Deadman's
16
out.
rebounds today, I think. 16, 15, 16 points, 15
Yeah.
rebounds today. So it's good.
Should
Caleb,
be.
we did tell you about Caleb already, right?
He was so today, but yeah, should be. With the way these things are going, Miami, he's had it, so could be a medium term ad. Like could be a good ad for the next few weeks. I'm not saying
Has
just
he
this
had
week.
it? Has he had it?
Yeah, he just came out of it.
Omer?
No, Caleb. I was talking
Oh,
about
Caleb.
Caleb.
Caleb. Okay, I thought we were talking about Omer. Yeah, yeah.
Caleb, yeah, because
Yeah.
without Lowry, without Dedmon, without these guys still
Yes.
should get more playing time. Um, and then who else? Yuta Watanabe of Toronto. Toronto got killed today. 45-point loss to the Grizzlies. Yeah, best player, Yuta Watanabe.
Utah and Svi Mikhailuk probably would be their 1-2 punch. Delano Banton was apparently is already out of protocols. He was in COVID protocols. He didn't have a particularly good game, but they got this guy DJ Wilson, a first round pick of Milwaukee. Played 4 steals, 1 block today. DJ Wilson actually, even before when he was in Milwaukee, when he gets minutes, he produces. And today he started and got 33 minutes, and he did a really good, made a good performance. I don't, again, that's why I just put them out there, because if Pascal Siakam or the others still won't be cleared by the next game, yeah, stream Utah, stream DJ Wilson, stream Svi Mikhailuk. I don't know. There's no news that Gary Trent, Pascal Siakam, or Scotty Barnes are coming out yet, or Fred VanVleet. So that's my that's the thing.
Yeah, those guys got it fairly late. I think you give them another week, I guess.
Has
OG,
it been
maybe I'm thinking maybe they play late this week, I guess.
possibly, yeah.
Late this week, and I think the late ones who got it were OG, right?
OG is the late one, yes.
The late one. So yeah. Yuta Watanabe, a player, of course. Boucher is probably still there. He played, probably one of his better games this season. So yeah, John Conchar, who has been, playing a little. He's been within our radar, I guess, over the past few weeks.
Conchar is good. He's one of those white players that you think this guy can't play, but he actually can play. Has a little bit of Caruso in him, and he's very tough also. So, but he's never been able to translate that in fantasy to fantasy relevance because of how deep Memphis is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, without Brooks and Melton, he would get his chance. He's starting right now. So yeah, I would like Conchar also. I would like to stream Conchar also for the week.
Yeah. So yeah, those are our buy players. Some worry players. Richaun Holmes had a bad game again.
Yeah.
That's two. Is it two bad games in a row since
if
coming
you
back?
look at before he came back, it's been 5 bad games in a row. He has not scored more than 4 points and not even had double-digit rebounding since forever. There are questions about dropping Richaun Holmes, and it's not something you laugh about anymore because really I don't know what's up with him today. 13 minutes because of foul trouble. So not something to laugh about, the question about dropping him, but I would still not drop Richaun Holmes. Maybe try to buy low. I don't know. Maybe someone who wants to drop him, you give him whatever player out there, and they will accept because they will drop anyway. And hopefully maybe I don't know, maybe the eyesight, maybe the goggles. I don't know what it is.
Is he playing
maybe
with goggles now?
Happy. Yeah, he's playing with goggles.
Yeah, or maybe
apparently his wife is a doctor, so maybe the wife is the one who made the goggles or something. So I don't know.
Well, it's that's very intensive research there by commish, knowing about the wife.
No, because
Being
the wife tweeted when he came back. She took a picture of the goggles with Richaun wearing the goggles and saying he's ready to go or whatever. I'm frustrated. I have Richaun. I have Richaun in a lot of leagues, and I don't know what's up. I don't know what's up really. I'm not expecting scoring. I just hope there would be like rebounds and blocks like Gafford. Maybe that's what we were expecting with Gafford, but he's lost. He's lost with the system, and it doesn't help that Sacramento is trying to play Tristan Thompson, Chimesi Metu, Marvin Bagley.
What's changed, right? What's changed in Sacramento? Nothing. Nothing has changed.
They are trying to play so many players. I don't know if they're showcasing for a trade or whatever. So Holmes gets the first 6 minutes. After that, they rest him and then they bring him back in the second quarter. So maybe it's another thing. It's tough for someone to get into the the group if they rest him right away. So
yeah, maybe maybe he's on minutes restriction still.
Yeah, possibly. Although today was a foul trouble. It was clearly foul trouble that cost him time. But maybe like a Harrell. Harrell has been so, but maybe if you offer him for Holmes, maybe the manager will bite that, would accept that.
Yeah, Harrell has some name value out there. So
yeah, maybe Mitch Robinson. I don't know. I'm not saying Mitch is good, but possibly. I don't know. Possibly you might get him for that cheap. I think it will play. I think it will pay off. Holmes can't be this bad forever. So I think it will pay.
Unless they don't play him at all, right? Yeah. So Richaun Holmes, our worry player. Buddy Hield, we've talked about lots of Buddy Hield in previous quickie episodes. Still a worry player. Yeah, another bad game today. I think he had 2 points?
2 points, yes. 2
and
points.
The minutes weren't even there. I think he just had limited minutes today. So yeah, Fox returned, right? Fox returned today.
It was a blowout from the beginning. So
yeah,
they played 16 or 15 players. They played 15 players. So it's maybe it's just that.
Yeah, let's see. Monte Morris, another player who's been struggling. Well, this is not a high ceiling player. So the struggles probably aren't too far off from the ceiling of Monte Morris.
But Monte was hot. Monte was hot before this struggling period, and it coincided with Jokic's hot run. Maybe there's something there, but the shooting has not, the shots has not fallen. Yeah. The shots have not fallen for
then Monte is usually known for very efficient line.
Yes.
It hasn't been consistently that good for him, I guess. Maybe because of the added chores, because they're not, deep I guess, in the point guard. I mean, before he was off the bench and there wasn't as much expected of him. Now there's more
The
scoring expected.
Yeah. And the problem with the Monte situation is that they're not playing well. Denver is losing. They're like 16-16. So what happens? They've lost some games, badly, and then Michael Malone just decided, okay, I'm just gonna go with Campazzo. I'm gonna go with Bones. I'm gonna go with Austin Rivers. They have a lot of options there at the guard spot. So that has hurt him lately also. He's still a hold. He's still a hold for me. He's still the best out there among the guards that I just mentioned. So maybe struggling right now, but he'll get it. He'll get it. In my opinion.
Yeah. Lastly, feel good. Let's talk about maybe one. Who do you want to talk about here? Levert, Bledsoe. Let's not talk about Butler. Bain.
We just talked about Bane. Maybe Bledsoe. I think people are very curious about who will benefit from Paul George's injury. Now we get the game without the new look Clippers, and then of course
The biggest question now is that can he do it consistently? I mean, that's
No.
the biggest question.
That's why I want to talk about him, because I think he cannot do it consistently, because we already know that he cannot do it every game. He can do it maybe for 5 games, 4 games straight, and then he will eventually falter or taper off. So again, if you have a Bledsoe, you want to add him in the +1, go ahead. Today 5 steals, 2 blocks. He has games like this, and you would say, "Whoa, that's so good. I'm so happy I got him." But don't be too happy with that, because that's not gonna happen every game. But without Paul George, of course, he should be rostered.
Without Paul George, without Reggie Jackson, he will have all the opportunities to do it again and again. I guess.
Yeah.
And we've seen it today. If you were wondering what the starting lineup would look like, that's the starting lineup so far. Man, Kennard, Batum, I think started with Bledsoe and Zuba.
Yeah.
So who benefits the most? We haven't really seen it, but because Kennard played badly because of foul trouble, Terrence Mann had a good game, relatively good game. Close to that triple-double. Could be a good, points, rebounds, assists kind of guy, but no defensive stats. I guess he's not known for the defensive stats. So yeah, looks like Batum is not really someone that you would really rely on.
You can add Batum. You can add Batum, but not in a 12-team league, maybe. Remember, Marcus Morris is coming back. People have been asking me about BJ Boston, and I've said he's good. We're one of the first to really hype this guy, BJ Boston. But with Marcus Morris coming back, I find it hard to see him getting 33 minutes a game. So maybe deeper leagues.
And Kennard got into foul trouble today. So
yes.
So that contributed to the minutes of Brandon Boston. So yeah, still I think Kennard is still the biggest beneficiary there, and maybe Man would be the next one, and of course Bledsoe. But yeah, we'll have to wait for Marcus Morris to see. But if Marcus Morris is available, I still think Marcus Morris is the guy that you should be having. I've seen him still in a lot of waiver. He is ready to play, so sometime this week he will most likely play. So you can find the right time to add him up already. If it's a lost cause already for this week, add him, because Paul George will be out 3 weeks, 4 weeks, in even more, right? And has potential to be season ending, as we said, for Paul George. So Marcus Morris should feast, but yeah, add him already. So that's the quickie. Lots of stuff we talk about. So let's see if some of the names we recommended would get into COVID protocols tomorrow or later tonight, because that's been the trend. Watch out for who's the name? Steph, That's the biggest
Bane,
name there.
Desmond
Bane.
Bane, Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, Jimmy
Yeah.
Butler, those guys. Maybe Derek White, right?
Derek White,
Yeah,
yes.
those guys. Dame
Josh
hasn't
Giddey.
had it. Dame hasn't had it.
Although Dame is questionable. Dame is questionable with a personal issue.
Mhm.
So yeah, whatever that is, we hope everything's fine with him.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So yeah, that's the quickie for today. Congratulations if you've won your week 10, and good luck for week 11. Halfway there, guys. Halfway there. And if you survive the next couple of weeks, being there at the playoff spot, you might be looking good, especially if your players come back in the next few days. All right, we'll see you again tomorrow, guys. Bye.
Bye.